Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Holcomb. I'm the Experiential Learning Supervisor at Skokie Public Library, coming to you live from our new BOOMbox. And we have a live event for you again. So I'm going to introduce Erica and Jimmy, and they're going to take you through today's activity. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Erica Nelson. I'm an experiential learning specialist in the BOOMbox and in the lab. And today we're just going to be covering some egg dyeing, an egg dyeing technique, as well as some of the history of some different cultures that also do egg dyeing. I have Jimmy here with me. Jimmy, do you want to intro yourself as well?
Sure. Hi, my name is Jimmy. I am the experiential learning lead at Skokie Public Library. You'll see me usually in the studio and sometimes the BOOMbox, and I'm working with Erica today, and I'm very excited. So thank you.
Okay, so first just going over, before we hop into our egg activity, we just kind of want to go over some history of egg dyeing and just some fun nitty gritties of history, of egg dyeing. So just starting off, the act of egg dyeing eggs spans across many different cultures and histories. Eggs have many different cultural meanings, such as rebirth, life, and renewal. And a lot of the times, the act of egg dyeing or celebrations that involve egg dyeing usually coincide with spring because you're coming out of winter and going into the springtime, or typically during New Year's Eve times. So when different calendars would start, because of that theme of rebirth and new life, they would a lot of the times be meshed.
And I have some history for you too. Egg dyeing dates back to 1290 when King Edward I ordered over 450 eggs to be dyed and covered with gold leaf, which I think is really cool. They were to be distributed to the royal entourage. There's also evidence that the Vatican sent King Henry VIII an egg in a silver case, which he later called egg silver. This practice somewhat influences the Fabergé eggs, the super bougie, really fancy eggs. And the Fabergé eggs were made in St. Petersburg, Russia. They were made as highly ornate metal eggs that were ordinated with jewelries and other precious metals. They were made and presented to czars of Tanzania as well. I had to read that country again.
Yeah, those Fabergé eggs, which also I have a hard time pronounce. I feel like I'm always like Fabergé eggs. Is they're so wild when you see them. I would love to be able to see one in person. I know that sometimes they tour around. So that's definitely on one of my life bucket lists, is to be able to see them. So in a more practical sense, egg dyeing has been used as just a colorful way to decorate everyday objects. In South Africa, they use ostrich eggs. So not only do they eat the ostrich eggs, but they also use it as a way of storing water and other things. So egg dyeing was a way of being able to identify whose egg was whose, aka whose water was whose, that sort of thing. And they were used by hunter-gatherers in the Kalahari Desert. And actually, a lot of these eggs have been found by archaeologists, and they're dated for over thousands of years ago. So not only have these eggs survived in the desert for that amount of time, but also the decorations that were used on them were able to survive as well. So super cool archaeology piece about that.
It sounds really fancy. And I can imagine that being really cool because ostrich eggs are giant. They're huge. And the yolks in there are really big too. So it's there's so much room to paint it and decorate it. I think that's really cool. I have some information too. So traditional dyeing or decorating methods are different from around the world. In Eastern Europe, wax would be applied to the shells in decorative patterns before they would dip the eggs in natural dyes. These designs would be very intricate. They would remove the egg yolk and let the insides dry so that the egg would last a long time and would be on display. They would also be given to people as ways of preserving and promoting health and cool art. which I think is really fun. And it's a really cool process that I think has kind of standed the test of time as we continue to use it today.
And while I was researching this, the process of just like how different cultures would use different dyes, a lot of the times in like the olden days, you know, before like the wild like dye colors that we have now and stuff like that that are definitely man-made, they would use the process of like basically like reusing like kitchen scraps and that sort of thing in order to be able to dye. So like a lot of the times people would use beets, onion skins, lichens, and flower petals, especially in Scandinavia. It was really common to like take your egg and then press a flower onto it and then dip dye it. So then when you would peel the flower off, the little imprint of the flower would be there and it would be this, cute little egg. So now we've kind of gone through like all the history and like some cool facts about egg dyeing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring us through the egg dyeing project that we have today. It's super fun. Also, Jimmy is going to be showing his like cool tie-dye eggs that he did himself. So this is the example that I have. I hope that it like comes up on camera well, because it's super cool. It's super intricate. And so the process that we're going to be using is they're called, which is might be a little bit creepy, but they're called bleeding tissue paper. And I got mine in a bunch of like super small little squares like this. And I got them in a bunch of different colors. And you can buy much larger pieces and just kind of wrap the egg and then do the process as we're doing it. But I decided to kind of go with like the smaller pieces just to be able to kind of get this like super cool, like almost like watercolory dye. So what we're going to need is we're going to obviously need an egg. I hard boiled mine. You can also do the very pro method of when it's still raw, you like poke a needle through the bottom and like essentially blow out all the inside of the egg out, just basically leaving the shell. That's a hard technique to do. My cousin can do it, and every single time I see it, I'm just like in awe. And then we are also going to be obviously needing the tissue paper, a piece of paper towel, and then you can either use water or you can use vinegar. And I can't show you directly what's in the bowl, but mine is vinegar. And that will just help preserve the color and really give it this like super intense coloring, which is, in my opinion, kind of what you want. I know that some people do have allergies to vinegar, so water can be used. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the egg, and just kind of what I like to do and what I feel like is easier is just to kind of dip my finger in the vinegar and like kind of just rub one spot, and then take one of the tissue papers, rub one spot and then just kind of layer the tissue paper. You don't need to get it like totally saturated yet, because we are going to dip dye or like dip the egg back in the vinegar. It's just more so that you like are able to then, you don't have, a ton of paper like sliding off while you're trying to do this. So this might take me a little bit of a hot second, but Jimmy, I don't know if you want to show your amazing tie-dye work right now.
Sure, give me 1 second. I will share my screen. So can you see what I see?
Yes.
Okay, great. I will point out that I did not get the memo that we were supposed to hard boil it. So I used a push pin to get all the yolks out. And for any egg that did not cooperate, it became an omelet. So I had a bowl. I was ready just in case it fell apart. There were no eggshells in anything. You can't prove it. But what I really liked about this project, and my mom got really involved too, which is why I have like 3 little cartons of eggs. So, and we saved the yolks and everything. Uh, what my mom did, what I thought was fun, is she had some, like warm water. She boiled it on the stove a little bit. And then we put the pieces in to kind of make our own little water dye. And we kind of just put the egg in, which I thought was interesting. Because I was like, wait a minute, no, I want to use the vinegar. And she's like, there's different ways. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what works out. Which is, I think it worked really nicely because some of these eggs have a really vibrant color. And this, if you look in the back too, you'll see that they're a little glossy. The reason being is because I had some Mod Podge, and if you happen to have Mod Podge at home, I really suggest it. It just adds a little bit of a gloss and a finish to your project. In case of emergency, you can use Elmer's glue and just paint over it if you need, but that's where the gloss comes from. And then I did the tie-dye method after on a few of them. So over here, you could see this blue egg with some purple dots on it. And I tried different things. I like cut the little, and we had some confetti papers, which is what I use. So or even some leftover tissue paper from like gifts or stuff that we'll eventually use, maybe, who knows. But I had a lot of fun with it, and it was just really cool. And that's where these little dots came from, because I kind of put it in different ways. I did the same one with this. It looks kind of green, but it's actually, it's like a yellowish gold almost. And then we kind of for this one right here in the middle, we held it in on one side, which gives it a little more of a pink color. And then I held it in for a shorter amount of time on the other side. So it looks almost like half and half, which I thought was really cool. And if you need a mechanism to help hold the eggs, they have these egg carton things at the Jewel for free. I asked, hey, do you have any egg holder things? And they were like, yeah, we have plenty. So they gave those to me, and I was happy about it. So resourcefulness, and thank you for watching. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and pass the baton back to Erica.
Yes, so I've already completed one of my eggs. Hopefully you can like see how like super vibrant it is. And they're already kind of bleeding into each other. Whoops. We're still good. They're still all together. So, and it's a hard-boiled egg, so you don't have to worry about anything spilling. The only negative is that because it's bleeding tissue paper, it does kind of get on your little flanges. So maybe if you're if you're having to like do like 1,000,001 of them, maybe like use, tweezers or some other apparatus. Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and take my kitchen paper towel, and I am just going to kind of roll the towel around it. So it's kind of already bleeding out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and dip it into the vinegar. And the vinegar, again, just makes all the colors like super nice and vibrant, which like I will pull it out in a minute and you can kind of see already what's going on. My experience with this is that you want to keep the paper towel on it for like an hour and really let the vinegar seep in. And then you want to remove the paper towel to be able to let everything kind of dry. And again, in my experience, I had to wait right around like 6 hours for everything to be super, super dry. And then you essentially just peel the tissue paper off, and then you get that cool egg dye look. So hopefully people can kind of see on camera already like the coloring coming off. And then I just like to push this aside and we'll wait. The water or the vinegar is already a really cool color. And then you just let it hang out until you're good to go. So again, I'm going to just show the final project one more time, just so you can kind of get an instance of like what the colorings will be. So that is cool tissue paper dyeing and Jimmy's wonderful tie-dye eggs as well. We hope that you had a great time with us. We love doing projects together and sharing them with everyone. And hopefully you guys had fun. Jimmy, did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I'm screaming about it. I showed a lot of people. I put it on Instagram. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good. We love it. We love a good Instagram post. Okay, so that's it from us today. Hopefully you guys had fun. Please come visit us in the BOOMbox soon when we reopen. We're gonna have a ton of fun things to do. And yeah, take care, guys. Hopefully you guys had